Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, the OG, the original Grognard here for Lock and Load Publishing, and we are sitting back down at Tabletop Simulator because there's a few questions that come up through various mediums, be it Facebook, direct messaging to us, or the forums, on a couple questions that people have had. They're not really sure how they're supposed to address it or how things are supposed to work in Tabletop Simulator, and that's okay. There's a lot of people who have recently just picked up Tabletop Simulator so they can take advantage of the free modules that we've put up there. And there are a few things that are specific to our games that we need to let people know about. So what we're going to do is we're just going to jump in and we're going to highlight these three issues and we're going to show people how to fix them and how to address them. Sometimes when you're pulling out counters, if you'll notice, let's go ahead and pull out this crew marker. If you pull out a counter, it doesn't leave the marker in the crates. That's not a fault of the module. That's just how Tabletop Simulator works. So typically you only have one copy of every counter. Now, if you look here, yes, there are two 114s, but if you flip them, you have different morales on the back. One has a 5 morale on the back, and one has a 4 morale. That's about the only duplicate counter you're going to see in there, and they're not really duplicate. But there's only one of each type of counter. Well, what happens if, say, you're pulling a counters, and for some reason you lose a counter or you accidentally delete it? Oops. Well, when you delete it, it doesn't go back into the crate. It's just gone for good. So what you got to do is you got to go up to this button up here, this little rewind time button, and you just click it backwards. You can go backwards a couple 3 minutes, I think, but it goes back 10 seconds in time every time you click it. So you push it first, it'll reset the camera, and then, okay, then you start going ahead and clicking back. And clicking back. Okay, now see, it takes snapshots. So we've gotten to the point where we pulled that counter out. So let's go ahead and look in Soviet infantry. Search. All right, so there's that sniper that we pulled out. Oh, there's the hero we accidentally deleted that we needed. And he's back into the game. All right, so that, if you lose a counter, that's how you rectify it. If you don't go if you don't go too far, if you go more than a couple 3 minutes from the time that you lost the counter, deleted the counter, or did something that upset whatever you were doing, you can only go back a couple 3 minutes. But it's a good way, if you catch yourself quick enough, you can go ahead and fix the board, as it were. Now the second one, let's go ahead and pull out a German vehicle. Doesn't matter what type. Let's go with the Stug. We love the Stugs. I love the Stugs. All right. So, as everybody knows, I love how good this artwork looks. Okay, so this is a little bit big. Let's go ahead and scale it down just a touch. All right, so now everybody knows weapon teams and vehicles need to be pointed at a hex spine. Now, if you just put the counter down, you kind of got the good idea that it's going this way. But if you hit Q and E, it really doesn't. It's a little bit hard because when you go down, you're not pointing anywhere near a hex spine. So you can get most of the hex spines by turning it. There isn't a way to adjust how far of an angle. Well, there is, but it's an advanced tool under Gizmo, and I completely haven't figured out how to do it. But one way that I have found to figure it out, because again, weapon teams and tanks need to be pointing towards a spine. Typical rotation isn't going to always be able to do that for you. So what you do is you pick up the counter, and you can kind of push that, but that's huge in its angles. You pick up the counter by left clicking, and then you use the middle mouse key. And that gives you a slightly finer control over which direction, so you can at least get the counter pointed generally in the right direction of which hex spine it's supposed to be at. So that's a little tip and clue that you need. And this is mostly for Lock and Load Tactical, as none of our other games require you to rotate the counters. So again, you click up, you left click to pick up the counter, you hold it, and then you use the middle mouse key to scroll it. And that will give you a finer control to be able to put the weapon teams and the vehicles pointed at the hex spine you want. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but at least you're going to be in the general area. Much better than if you just try clicking the E and the Q buttons to rotate it. All right, so the third little tip we wanted to pass on is how do you save games? All right, so oftentimes what I like to do is I'll set up a game beforehand so I'm not having to worry about pull counters when me and a buddy get together to start playing. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull the counters beforehand, and then I'll just go ahead and save it. Well, how do you save it? You click on the games. When you're at the point you want to save it, click on Save and Load. Now, you will know notice there is an autosave. The game does autosave, but sometimes you got it right where you want it, and you want to save it. So you click on the Save and Load, go to this, and then whatever name you want to give it. Heroes. Well, that's not how you spell heroes. Heroes 2. And then you just hit Save Game. And then root folder, Heroes of the Motherland. Just click Save. And then back up one. Go back to Save and Load. And actually, yep, here it is. Right here. Under the root of Heroes of the Motherland. And sure you want to... Okay, so let's go ahead and show this. Let me go ahead and bring up this one, because this is a previously saved scenario that I've got set up for a buddy of mine. So we got right like that. So let's go ahead and click Games, Save and Load, Heroes of the Motherland, which is what the root folder we saved under originally was. And here we are back to where it is. So there, that's how you go ahead and save a game. And then, boom, I flipped the table accidentally. I love flipping the table. But then if someone does flip the table, you just hit the rewind button and it sets it back. So even if you do flip the table, like so, you can go ahead and reset time and put the table back to the way it was. But anyways, let's go to the main menu. And if you want to load a save game that you're playing, that you want to play with a buddy of yours, hit create, go to multiplayer, whatever your yada 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 is, and then go to save and load, and click on the save file, hit load, let it load its assets, and bam, you're good to go, just like that. Not too tough, but each of these problems are kind of specific to our games, and I mean they're in Tabletop Simulator. But if you don't know what's going on with them, if you're new to the program, probably a thing you didn't know about. And hopefully this will be of immense help, especially the rotating the counter part. I mean, that I was very frustrated when I first started fiddling around with this, until I discovered that I could fine tune it a little bit more to get my vehicles mostly pointed in the direction they're supposed to be pointed. So that's our little tips, tricks, and I can't really call it tactics. Tips and tricks for Tabletop Simulator with Lock and Load Publishing games, mostly for Lock and Load Tactical. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll see everybody next time. See ya.